Thank you for joining Star Trek Comic Book Review, where today we are covering the issue Embrace the Wolf by Wildstorm Comics. This was covered in detail in episode 198 of the podcast, which was released April 4th, 2015. While you're listening, please feel free to like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you.
Okay, so the next one is Star Trek Next Generation, Embrace the Wolf. This came out June of 2000, written by Christopher Golden and Tom Sinaski. Pencils by Dave Hoover, inks by Troy Hubbs and Jason Martin, ink assist by Christy Stack, letters by Nagam Zand, colors by Jeremy Cox, design by Alex Sinclair, edits by Jeff Marriott, and special thanks to Paula Block. So the cover shows the Enterprise D flying through a gas nebula of some kind. Picard is depicted in the gas wake of the ship. Below this is a depiction of Data as Sherlock Holmes escorting a frightened woman, and the duo's shadow is shown to be the shape of some sort of monster. The story starts with the Enterprise D arriving at Enoch 7 to investigate widespread hatred and fear. They arrive just in time to see huge mushroom clouds appear around the planet as they begin bombing themselves. Picard is eventually able to get a hold of the planet's leader, and they are brought up to speed on how the planet's population all started acting strangely and violence started breaking out everywhere. An away team beams down to offer aid. At one point, Crusher leaves the main group to help someone that's trapped under some rubble. Once Crusher returns to the main group, she's all smiles as they walk through the carnage. Eventually, she comes up with a reason to beam back to the ship. Once there, she says that she has longed to be back in a Federation vessel, and she touches a computer console, and we see a spirit leaving her body and entering the ship's computer. The spirit soon makes itself known to the crew of the Enterprise. Through the intercom, it tells them that he is now in control. It refers to itself as Red Jack and starts to terrorize the crew. Picard orders the crew to not be afraid, since they know that fear will only feed Red Jack. Data recaps the episode Embrace the Wolf from the original series, stating how the original crew of the Enterprise defeated Red Jack by beaming it into space. Red Jack has taken up residence in the holodeck, recreating the Jack the Ripper scenario since it once was the real Ripper. Data enters the holodeck, and Red Jack changes his clothes to be that of Sherlock Holmes. Red Jack thinks this is a game, Ripper versus Holmes. He then starts to beam random people into the holodeck and scares them to death, literally. This includes the main crew as well, though they somehow never die like many of the other unknown crew do. Worf at one point is an enraged beast, but Picard is able to calm him down. Eventually, they make their way to a slaughterhouse called Montgomery and Son on Scott Street. This is obviously a reference to Montgomery Scott's encounter with Red Jack from the original series. While this is happening, the leader of Enoch 7 has ordered the Enterprise destroyed so that Red Jack cannot do to another planet what it did to theirs. Back in the slaughterhouse on the holodeck, Worf battles Red Jack until Red Jack starts to lose his control on the other parts of the ship. Eventually, Geordi is able to beam Red Jack into a torpedo casing, locking the entity within. The people on Enoch 7 stop their attack and request to be custodians of the captured Red Jack so that they will never forget what happened to them. The end.
Haha! Red Jack. A little borrowing from Tawsland.
Right. So that episode was actually called Embrace the Wolf. If I would have known the title of that episode, I should have known right away it was going to be Red Jack.
Wolf in the Fold.
Oh, it's not even. It's called Wolf in the Fold. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not Embrace the Wolf.
Okay.
Yeah, so that whole one was Rejek was just taking over one person at a time back then, and that was the wolf in the fold. So it was a very peaceful planet back then too in that episode. And then Mr. Scott was seen as the villainous outsider that actually murdered someone. Nobody murders anybody on this planet. And then that was the wolf in the fold. But actually, it was Rejek who was jumping bodies later. But being able to affect that many people, that was never in his repertoire in the original Taz episode.
Right. Well, maybe having his atoms, beamed out into space, wide beam, and gave him some more powers.
See? Wide beam. It solves everything. Wide beam.
True.
A little hearkening back to an earlier episode of ours. Yeah. So one of the things I love best about this is when Data's uniform changes into Sherlock Holmes' outfit on the holodeck, and he says, "Well then, I suppose the game's afoot." I love that because that's what Sherlock Holmes says. Especially in that Sherlock TV series, BBC. That's a big thing Holmes says when he realizes, I got a really good case.
Right.
The game's afoot. So, I love that.
He's very well versed in the Arthur Conan Doyle stuff.
Doyle, yes.
Doyle.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Ah.
So I liked the Jack the Ripper stuff in this one. I like the way they depicted him, that he doesn't look like Jack the Ripper. He just looks like this amalgam of different monsters.
Yeah. Now the head definitely is some alien life form, Jack the Ripper-ish kind of thing. And he's got the really thin sword. But he's got weird looking, like appendages and things.
Right. Like one arm is a tentacle. Seems wrapped around the scabbard. Right.
One arm's a tentacle, and then one of his feet look more like a horse's hoof, at least rather than a foot.
Oh, I didn't even notice the foot.
Yeah, so both legs are black and stuff, but the left foot, it looks like more of a hoof than a foot. And of course he looks.
Oh yeah, I see it now.
So does he look like he's definitely looks like demony, with the glowing eyes and stuff. But is there like a little bit of mechanical? No, probably not. I was thinking there might have been like a mechanical kind of thing in his face, but no, it's all just demony kind of look.
Right. Yeah, he does have that one eye that's always like a bright light.
Right.
Anyways, I thought it was good. I liked it. I don't know why he would have gone to the holodeck and recreated all this instead of just continue to torture the people and kill them that way. I mean, because in the show he actually killed people, right? When he was in somebody's body, they would kill somebody.
Yep.
Not just, I'm going to scare you till you're dead.
No, he would kill people, and it was the fear that came out of them when they were near death or they knew they were going to die, which is what really fed him. Okay. So I don't think he had to actually kill people, but he did. He liked that too, apparently.
Right.
So he was in the original Taz series, he was small time. He would be attacking one person at a time. In this one, he's attacking an entire planet, which is interesting. An entire planet's population as he's setting off, nuclear or at least some kind of big time explosions.
Right, but I thought he was just bouncing into person to person. I still thought it was one at a time, right? That he would bounce into somebody until they did something that then made some other people scared, and then they would start retaliating and. Eventually it escalated. Yeah,
he's jumping one person to one person. But now instead of being a one-on-one kind of fear-mongering, he set an entire population into fear. Or kill, yeah. I mean, an entire population. That's pretty big time. So no, you're not jumping into everybody, but you're jumping into the guy that apparently has his finger on the button of the planet-wide munitions. Because that was kind of an interesting visual as the Enterprise was arriving at the planet and getting into orbit, where they saw what looked like multiple nuclear explosions coming up from the planet's surface.
Right.
So that was pretty. That's pretty horror. That's horror there. There's a lot of fear coming up off the population that way. But he was just
Right.
eating up real good in what his chosen cuisine is.
And then when he was Crusher, I mean, it really was evident because he's just all smiling and stepping over dead bodies with a big grin on his face.
Yep. And speaking of Crusher and Deanna, it's like, I think this is one of the best depictions, most attractive depictions of those two characters. I mean, they almost look like Little Mermaid hot. You know? Well, no.
I think that's a wrong thing to say, Kane.
That's probably a wrong thing to say. But come on. Those people at Disney, the way they drew some of those characters, like in the past couple decades, they're drawing them rather attractively. And in this issue, the artist is drawing those two female characters pretty good.
Right.
I mean, look, that one shot with Crusher as she's alone, walking around in the 1800s
in the dress,
London thing, in the dress, where the peasant girl kind of dress, and then the shoulder, that was by design, and I applaud that design. But
no, they were looking good in those dresses, but they were also looking good when they were just in their normal Starfleet attire.
Oh yeah.
Earlier, which those uniforms aren't usually all that
attractive,
appealing.
Right. But hats off to the artist.
Yes.
Dave Hoover.
Right.
Dave, excellent job.
And not just with the women. I thought everybody looked great. I really liked the look on Data's face often. I mean,
right.
They really captured the just the different expressions, the subtle expressions that he has.
Right.
Agreed. I thought it was great.
And there's that one point where Worf, again in the holodeck, is getting cut, ripped in the back and the arm and the chest, and he goes, ape, and he does that roar, and then the look on his face is really good. I think.
Right, and I even liked the way the old Enoch 7 president was. I thought he was a woman at first, but
that's what
later
I thought.
He's actually called he. So
right,
but just looks like this very diminutive, wizened old, almost like a Yoda type, just small character, lots of wrinkles. I thought it was great. I thought it really fit the character, and when he's ordering the destruction of the Enterprise, you could tell that it's weighing on him, that it's not. He doesn't want to do this, but he doesn't want another planet to be destroyed by Red Jack, so he's got to, do this one evil thing to save who knows how many other lives in the universe. I thought it was good.
I agree. Quite good. Yeah, so I thought the artwork was rather unique. It was not as unique. I mean, it kind of had its own style, I thought, and although it was not as unexpected as Vector.
Right.
That's a very unique and maybe not universally loved style, at least not by me. But this one was unique, but I truly liked it. Very, very good.
Agreed, 100%. Yeah, maybe you weren't too far off when you were saying the Disney thing, because, people do look a little cartoony at times, but it works.
Yeah, good job. And Picard looks really good in that Commodore's uniform or whatever it is.
That was the one part of the story I didn't really care for.
Well, you didn't like him in the period outfit?
Right. No, I didn't like it.
Oh, okay. Well, okay.
Maybe I just don't like that outfit.
Right. Well, you just don't like Generations at all, do you?
That's right. I forgot he wears that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well. So, did you think it was wise for them to put that containment device that kind of looked a little bit like a short photon torpedo from Taw's era. Did you think it was very wise of them just to put it on the surface of a moon?
No, it's not wise at all. They should launch it into the sun.
Okay, let's talk about that, because I was thinking the same thing. And not only that, I want to equip the thing with multiphasic shielding, so you could actually shoot it deep into the sun. So not on the surface, because it would just burn up. The casing would just burn up before you even got near the sun. No, I want to go as far into the sun as possible, then you turn off the multiphasic shielding. And even though Rejek is a being of energy, come on, that's got to destroy him.
What about a black hole?
A black hole, that would work. Because even if he didn't get destroyed, he'd be shot out in the other side of something. Black hole would work.
Assuming that there is another side, or you just crushed.
Well, that's the other thing. It could just be the strict crushing. Now, the only problem with that, again, before it even gets near the event horizon, the black hole, the containment chamber is going to be ripped to pieces with the tidal forces of the supergravity going on.
Right.
So, just so long as the containment field is not ended and the energy being still has the ability to get away from either the sun or from the black hole. So, isn't that funny talking about this like it's real? But
right.
Either way, I think that would be good.
And I would like to amend my black hole thing.
Okay.
Obviously, this is Star Trek, and we know that if you go through the black hole, you'll go back in time. So I apologize for my lack of knowledge of Star Trek lore. So yes, we know what happens when you go through a black hole, and you can surf it if you want to. I didn't know that Robert Bloch wrote this episode. What's it called again?
Wolf in the Fold?
Wolf in the Fold.
Okay, who's Robert Bloch? He's somebody of significance.
He wrote Psycho.
Oh, really? Huh, I didn't know that.
So the novelist who wrote Psycho, and then he also wrote seems Cat's Paw and What Little Girls Are Made Of for the original series.
He wrote 3 episodes of the original series?
Right.
Cool. I didn't know that. Huh.
And Psycho, a fantastic book.
Did he write the script for the? Did he adapt it for the movie?
No, he just wrote the novel.
Oh, okay. He could have, obviously, if he's writing TV episodes. Interesting.
Yeah, he wrote the novel, then they made the movie, and then he wrote Psycho 2, the novel, because he found out, this is like 20 years later, that they were going to make a Psycho 2 movie.
And so he got out in front of it?
Yeah, he got out in front of it, and it's a completely different story.
Huh.
And then he wrote a third one too, but I didn't care for Psycho 2, so I haven't read Psycho 3 yet.
Right.
But anyways, I just thought that was interesting, that I did not know that he was a Star Trek writer.
I did not know that either. Very good. Well,
so thanks to Wildstorm Comics for pointing that out to me.
Yeah, and maybe, so we've got Harlan Ellison, who's written many wonderful things, and a Star Trek episode. We've got this gentleman, and then I wonder what other famous writers that have done other great things have written Star Trek episodes.
I don't know, but I might thumb through the IMDb page just to see who else out there.
Exactly. So it's kind of like Neil Gaiman writing Doctor Who episodes or something. There could be some really great writers out there, more than we know about.
Right. Well, you should know. You grew up with this. You're supposed to know all this.
What? Hold on a second. Since when does a 10-year-old kid or something go ahead and check, writers? I mean, for the most part, you don't care about writers. You just care about the buzz of watching the show.
Sure. I'm kidding.
So, anyway.
It was a joke.
Okay. So that's all I have to say about this one. I thought this was an enjoyable book. I think I liked the Taz story a little better, but I thought this was very enjoyable. Good art, hearkening back to an interesting villain. and I liked it.
Yeah, I thought both of these books were really good.
Mm-hmm.
I really enjoyed both of them, and both of them went into directions I was not expecting. The genie thing, complete surprise, and
Right.
I was not that familiar with Red Jack, so when it turned out to be Red Jack, I was like, oh, I do remember that episode.
Right.
And I did not see that coming.
Right.
So
Neither did I.
So yeah, both of them were good, I thought.
Right. Cool.
Thank you for watching this excerpt of episode 198 of the Star Trek Comic Book Review. This episode and all other episodes are available on iTunes or wherever you get your podcast from. Also, big thanks to the character art, and if you would like to share some character art, we would put it on the show. You can email us at the email above. Thank you, and please come back.